Hey, dreamers, welcome back to your Dream Coach podcast, where we talk about building your dream life and business from the inside out through leadership, fulfillment, and growth. I'm Shayla Wey. I'm a small business coach, growth strategist, and believer that when you lead with purpose, everything changes. So today I am talking about something that might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but if you let it land, it can radically shape your experience in business and in life. And I want to dive into the hidden danger of being too attached to outcomes. Now, listen, if you're ambitious like myself, you've probably heard all the talk about setting big goals, visualizing success, and really manifesting the dream. And I'm here for that to a point. But what I found is both in my own entrepreneurial journey and in coaching hundreds of business leaders is that when we become too attached to outcomes, we actually sabotage the very success that we're chasing. And so in this episode, we're going to unpack 5 powerful truths, many inspired by mentors like Ed Milet and Brendon Burchard, that will help you detach in a healthy way and move you with more peace and actually create the life and the results that you want without losing your joy, your presence, and your sanity. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to touch on is outcome obsession creates emotional whiplash. So you know that feeling when you're so focused on hitting a goal, maybe it's a revenue number, a launch target, or a client result, that your entire mood depends on whether you're on track or behind. I have been there. And what I have learned is that when you tie your emotional state to your result, you ride this exhausting roller coaster of highs and lows. One sale, I'm amazing. No sale, I'm a failure, right? And we can translate sales into clients or business growth, right? That can translate into the business that you're currently in. The challenge with that is that the mindset will rob you of your peace. It clouds your creativity and it can make you more reactive instead of proactive. So Ed Milet talks about this in terms of emotional discipline and how the most successful people don't just get excited when things go well, they stay grounded no matter what. And so instead of obsessing over the outcome, focus on who you're becoming in the process. That's where real confidence is built. The second thing is that pressure can kill your presence. And I want to say that again, that pressure can kill your presence. I used to believe that pressure was a necessary part of performance, that being under the gun kind of made me sharper, more focused, more powerful. But over time, I've realized that pressure made me less present, less connected, and less in tune with the people I was really trying to serve. And so when you're in business and you're in a leadership role, conversations, or you're delivering, to a client in conversations with goals or services, products, and you're in I need to hit my number or I need this business to grow, right? We're in that place of scarcity. People can feel that and your energy shifts. And energy is going to sell and serve more than your words ever could. Brendon Burchard talks about this a lot too, about how performance or high performers cultivate intentional energy and not from a pressure or panic, but from presence and purpose. And so what shifted things for me was showing up to serve and not just to prove. And I'm a really big believer that when we help enough people, we serve enough people get what it is they need or what they want, it does come back to us tenfold. The third thing is just how outcome attachment often comes from that scarcity thinking. Because here's a tough truth. When I trace back the times that I've been the most desperate to control outcomes, it almost always came from a place of scarcity. Scarcity of money, scarcity of time, scarcity of worth. I've said to myself things like, if this doesn't work, I'm done. Or if this person doesn't say yes, I'm not cut out for this. Does that maybe sound familiar to some of you? Well, when you're in a scarcity mindset, you grip tighter and you try to force things, but that energy, it pushes people away and it clogs up creativity and it really does kill momentum. So the shift for me was really leaning to build from enoughness, from a place of grounded belief that things are always working, even when I can't see it yet. And when you lead with trust instead of fear, you create space for the right opportunities to flow in. Now, the fourth thing I've learned is that goals are really meant to guide you, not define you. I have had people ask me lots of times, why I'm so passionate about goals. And I want to be really clear is that I'm not an anti goal, right? I love goals. I set them, I teach them, and I track them. But what I've really learned is that your goals are meant to guide you, not define you. So if you hit your goal, amazing, celebrate it. If you don't, amazing, learn from it. But either way, you are not your numbers. And this was a lesson that took me a lot of growth to have happen, right? It was a big lesson I had to learn is that I'm not my numbers. I'm not my results. I'm not my bank account, right? Not associating my self-worth with where things are or not, or maybe aren't at the moment. So you're not your launch, right? As I shared, like you're not your bank account. You're not your Instagram engagement. The real win is the journey in who you become along the way. And that's what really creates that long-term fulfilling success. So set the goal and make the plan, but hold it loosely. You're allowed to evolve, and so is your vision. And the fifth thing is that you can't force divine timing, right? This is a big one. Some of the most pivotal seasons in my life and business didn't make sense while I was in them. The slow seasons, the rejections, the detours. But looking back, every one of those moments was leading me exactly where I needed to go. And so you can't force divine timing. You really can't rush that alignment. And if you're trying to make something happen and it feels like pushing a boulder uphill, pause. Reflect and ask yourself, is this a timing issue or is this resistance or redirection? Some of your biggest breakthroughs will come not from doing more, but from surrendering faster. So the faster I learned to release control, the more doors opened for me, often in ways I could never have predicted. So here's what I want you to take away and take with you today is to detach your words and your worth from your results. Really detach that. Okay? Lead from presence, not pressure. Build from trust, not that scarcity mindset. And use your goals as a compass, not a ruler. I love that one. And just being surrender to the timing that's bigger than your plan. This isn't about doing less, and it's about doing it differently from a place of grounded belief, intentional energy, and inner alignment. That's how you build something that lasts. So thanks so much for spending part of your day with me here on your Dream Coach podcast. I'm genuinely grateful you're on this journey, choosing growth, choosing purpose, and choosing to lead in a way that really matters. If today's episode gave you a new insight or a spark of inspiration, I'd love to hear about it. You can tag me on Instagram at Shayla Wey Coaching or share this with someone who needs a little nudge forward. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit subscribe, leave a review, and come back for more conversations to help you build a business and a life that actually feels really good. Because your dream life starts with the way you lead, the way you live, and the way you grow. Until next time, keep going, keep growing, and thank you for being here.